Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is another one of my very amateurish videos. I think you'll really learn something from this. Hopefully you'll like the video and subscribe because I'll have more interesting stuff coming up. Today we're going to talk about year of manufacture California plates. Not about the program. There's plenty of videos out there about the program that'll tell you a lot more than I can tell you. What I'm going to talk about is what's the right plate for your car. And when I say right plate, not just the year of the original plate, but I can narrow it down to what letter sequences are correct for your car. Now, I see a lot of cars with year of manufacture plates on them, and the sequences are just wrong. And a lot of people out there don't know what's right and wouldn't care, wouldn't point it out to you or anything if they saw your car at a show. But I'm one of those people that can. I started dealing in plates when the year of manufacture program got bumped up from ending at 62 to getting into the 63 to 69 plates. So pretty knowledgeable on them. But let's start with 51 plates, like the one you see on the screen. I don't have enough info on those to tell you what's the right plate for your 51 Packard or your 55 Plymouth. I can only guess that the higher the letter, the later the plate was made. But like I said, I just don't have enough info on that, so we're going to move on to 1956 plates. And we'll also get into 69 plates. And we'll come back to the different sequences there. Also, I have some information here. I'll put this back on the screen later at the end. That actually tells, for 1963, when the new plates came out, what sequences were distributed in what parts of the state. But let's get on to the 56 plates. Obviously, it's got to be a 56 plate and then a sticker for your year. Unless it's a 56 car, 56 Nomad, wouldn't have stickers because you've got the 56 here. Every year after that, got a new sticker. Same holds true for the 63 to 69 plates. Now, I've made up a list here just partially from my experience, partially from just common sense as to what is correct for your car. Now, in 56 and 63, every car got a new plate. So in 1956, let's say, they used up about half of the alphabet just giving plates to the new 56s and any car prior to 56 that was on the road, whether it was a 32 Ford or a 54 Packard. Everybody got new plates. And same goes for 63. Like I said, they used up more or less half the plates. In 63, everybody got new plates again. They kept the same sequence, 3 letters, 3 numbers, but everybody got a new plate in 63 like they did in 56. So roughly a year after the new plates came out, they were working their way through the NOPs, let's say, starting with the letter N, O, and P. This plate here probably either came out late on a late 56 car or a 57 car. And just by the way, this frame would be correct for this plate. Packard merged with Studebaker in 1957, and then Packard went away after 1958. So this plate could have easily been on a 56 or 57 Packard, or 58 Packard. Also, one thing to note, in 56, all states had plates the same size. Up until 55, states could make their plates any size they wanted. Some had them not as wide, some had them taller, some had them smaller if they had less numbers on them. But in 56, all states were standardized. Now, coming back to this, you can just see how, as the years went on, the first letter got higher. Now, this isn't 100% accurate because, number one, it would depend on if your car was bought early in the model year, late in the model year. Sometimes a little DMV in the middle of nowhere might take longer for them to go through their plates, so therefore a lower letter might have been used much longer than, let's say, plates that were issued out of Los Angeles. One thing, for example, you just don't want to see. You don't want to see a 62 Bel Air Chevy bubble top 409 4-speed with a plate that starts with A through M. It just didn't exist. A 62 should have a plate X, Y, or Z. Same goes for your 69 Camaro Z28 Cross Ram. Should have an XYZ plate, not a plate that starts out with B or D or anything much lower than an X. '63 and '56 style plates, trucks only, would have one letter, 5 numbers, as opposed to 3 letters, 3 numbers. Another thing you need to be aware of, here's a 69 plate. You notice it has 63 stamped in it. Most of the black and yellow plates you see, the 63 to 69 plates, have that 63 stamped in it. If you're putting your manufacturer plates on a 63 Impala, let's say, it's got to be a plate that has that 63 stamped in it. Here, for example, is a plate that starts out Y, and that 63 is not stamped in it. So if you tried to put this plate registered to a 63, the DMV is not going to accept it, because there were no stickers in 63, just that stamping. Now, just to show you that I'm pretty correct on these numbers, here I've got a plate. I got the stickers down to the very first sticker on here, which was this one, 1966. Note the plate is SAR 886. Come over to my list. 66 should have RS or T, and sure enough, this one has an S. Now let's come to the locations. Once again, I'll put this on the list at the end. But this is where, and this isn't as important as getting the right number, but it's kind of interesting. I pulled this off the internet years ago. This tells what DMV in 63 issued what letter sequences. So for example, let's look at this plate. DBW 714. That plate would have initially been DBW. That plate would have initially come out of the San Francisco office, the one on Noriega Street. Apparently there were two. Yeah, there was one on Van Ness. This isn't that big a deal, but as you'll see, it starts up north and works its way down south. So if you live in Riverside like I do, and you've got a car that you're trying to pawn off as an original Riverside car, once again, you don't want to have a plate from Tahoe Valley or Lodi, as in Stuck in Lodi again, the Creedence Clearwater song. What I would want here in Riverside would be a plate HVK through HXR. But like I said, that's not a really big deal. Not a whole lot of people pay attention to that. But just in case, like I said, I'll leave this up at the end. Another thing to bring up, this plate, you can't really tell just how badly it's faded. The DMV, obviously the plate has to be clear. The number can't be in use on another vehicle, but they won't accept a vehicle that's dented, smashed up, really badly faded, because the deal is a cop is supposed to be able to see it from a certain distance. So if your letters are all faded out like this, they're not going to see it. And the DMV may not accept the plate. So I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully, as always, hopefully you find me to be credible. Like I said, I've dealt in plates for quite a while now, and just want to make sure you get the right plate. Like I said, there's some deviations, but this is fairly accurate. Basically, don't put a low letter sequence on your 69 Z28 or your 62 bubble top. If you went the other way, let's say you put a plate that starts with X on your 58 Impala. Okay, obviously that could have happened, but what that would mean would be that your 58 Impala wasn't registered in California until 1962. Nobody with a 58 Impala convertible here in California wants anybody to believe that it spent its first 6 years in Ohio, where I'm from, where the cars rot out in 3 years. So hopefully you learned something here. Hopefully you've copied the numbers here, and I will put the cities back on the screen. You probably won't be able to see them all. Have any questions regarding what's correct for your car, or where your car came from, which DMV, what numbers would be correct? Leave me a question in the comments. I'll be sure to answer. And hopefully you liked this video and will subscribe. At some point I'll do one on repainting plates, and I will. Okay, here's one. Here's a plate I repainted. It's not perfect. but none of my cars are perfect. And it doesn't take a lot of skill. You don't have to have a real steady hand. And I'll do a video on that sometime in the future. And I'll even go into detail as what I think is the best and easiest brands of paint to work with for the different colors, and where to get the exact paint that I use. And once again, that'll be strictly for the 63 to 69 plates. Okay, leave this up here a little longer. Just go through this real quick. If you need me to give you the info again, leave a comment. Hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you'll like. Hopefully you'll subscribe. Thanks.